Gangs of London has taken the UK by storm and has become one of the most popular currently airing series right now. We've seen the viewership be pretty decent for this series as a whole, even with the complaints coming from people thinking it's too violent. One of the biggest things coming from Gangs of London is how similar the series is to Peaky Blinders. So today, we're going to discuss Gangs of London versus Peaky Blinders. Here's the biggest differences between the shows. First up, we have the themes of the shows. First of all, we have the themes that the shows deal with, as well as the criminal stories they tell. Though the series are pretty different, Gangs of London definitely draws from Peaky Blinders in the themes and criminal stories they go for. In Gangs of London, we are dealing with London and the criminal underworld that runs through the city. Peaky Blinders deals with a similar aspect of crime, but instead focuses on Birmingham in the industrial 19th century. Though they both end up dealing with criminal attitudes and stories, the setting is what sets them apart. Next up, we have the violence that sets them apart. The biggest thing that fans are complaining about and comparing the show to Peaky Blinders for is the violence in the series. Of course, a series about crime needs to display some form of violence to get the audience to understand the depth of what's going on. Peaky Blinders is known for its violent scenes, but isn't known for the on-screen violence that Gangs of London is displaying. Gangs of London's first season really caught people off guard. The main reason was because of how amazing the storytelling really is, but how distracting all the violence can be. We live in a time where some people aren't really bothered by constant blood and death, and where some are truly distraught when seeing it and want to complain about it. Throughout the first season of Gangs of London, the series had a record-breaking 113 deaths and many scenes of harrowing torture. All of this was in service of the ongoing plot and not just to scare the audience. But some really hate this idea. Many took to social media complaining how violent the show is and how it shouldn't be on TV in that state. During the first hour or so of the series, characters are punched 26 times, kicked 7 times, 4 are shot, and 3 are tortured, while its 9 episodes include 96 shootings, 30 stabbings, and 7 strangulations. This is very different from Peaky Blinders, as they only show a small amount of violence when it's needed. Though the shows are very similar in nature, Gangs of London is very visceral with its violence and action. Despite this, the series is doing insanely well. The managing director of content at Sky, where the show is created in the UK, Zai Bennett, stated, "Not only is Gangs of London Sky's most binged premiere box set this year, it's the biggest original drama launch on Sky Atlantic of the past 5 years. It's dark, dangerous, and we're thrilled it's coming back for a second series. Will the Wallace family rise again? Will the Dumanis remain loyal to their new allies? And who is Elliot really working for?" All these questions and more will be waiting for Sky viewers when Gangs of London returns to screens in 2022. The series is doing well, but that doesn't stop the audience from complaining. Many are bringing up the fact that Gangs of London shouldn't get away with such violence because the setting is realistic. Some wrote how Game of Thrones can get away with the violence because of how fantasy-based it is, and that because of how grounded Gangs of London is, it shouldn't have this violence. What do you think about all this? Let us know down in the comment section below. And our final big difference is at the heart of the show. The biggest thing that people are forgetting is how different the hearts of Gangs of London and Peaky Blinders are from one another. Peaky Blinders is a period show based around a gang of people where the family is the main focus. As BBC puts it themselves, it's an epic saga that puts family at the heart of the action. Everything is based around family, the respect and love for each other, but also the fighting that can go on because of family-based responses and actions. On the other hand, we have Gangs of London, which does follow a family, but not in the same way. Gangs of London shows the downfall of a criminal family after its leader is killed, but also the rise of our main character and the gang-related incidents that ensue. Both shows have different hearts. One is based around family, and the other is based around disruption within that so-called family. They have different internals, but very similar externals. When people are saying how similar these two projects are, they're just generalizing everything. When you really look into Gangs of London and Peaky Blinders, they are truly very different from one another. What do you think about these other shows? Let us know down in the comment section below. And now, onto some other televisions. Next up, we have what is going on with the Book of Boba Fett. Our first piece of television news comes from the recently aired Book of Boba Fett from Disney+. We now have all the episodes aired from the series, so fans can finally discuss what is going on and their feelings towards it. The first few episodes of the series were met with some criticism, but nothing too harsh. Fans just found the series boring, and that they didn't like the direction the character of Boba Fett was taken in. For decades now, Boba Fett has been this badass and mysterious character that Star Wars fans across the world loved and admired. Though Boba had very little character in the films, he had a cult following, mainly due to the animated series from the 2000s. He became a fan favorite, and him finally getting his own series was amazing to see. The Book of Boba Fett does have some amazing moments, but the character of Boba Fett just isn't what people wanted. It was episode 5 and 6 where the fans were blown away with the series, but for the wrong reasons. The series moved on from being a Boba Fett story into what fans fans are dubbing The Mandalorian Season 2.5, as we follow Mando and Baby Yoda for 2 episodes. The show shifted into fan service and moments not relating to the story of the series at that point. Though fans were happy to see Mando, Baby Yoda, and characters like Ahsoka and Luke Skywalker once again, it took everything away from Boba's storyline. These episodes were loved by everyone, but the fanbase realized that Boba's story just wasn't cutting it. Now that the finale of the series has aired, fans just aren't impressed. The ending of the series was very lackluster, even with fan favorite character Cad Bane finally making his live-action debut. Everyone wanted scenes with him and Boba, as they are master and student, but we got very little. Even with the death of Cad Bane, he didn't get the respect he deserved, or the screen time. Sadly, the Book of Boba Fett made people even more excited for Mando Season 3, rather than loving Boba as a character even more. Though it's great for the franchise as a whole, we didn't really get the Boba Fett story everyone wanted. Hopefully in the near future, we see him in other projects, or see the actor reprise his role as other clones from the expanded Star Wars universe. Let us know down in the comments below what you thought of the Book of Boba Fett. And finally, we have Obi-Wan Kenobi finally has a release date, and everything you need to know about the show. Star Wars fans can finally rejoice. The upcoming Obi-Wan Kenobi series from Disney Plus finally has a release date, and fans are so happy. The series is currently set to launch on May the 25th, which also happens to be the 45th anniversary of Star Wars A New Hope. Now that the series finally has a release date, we've been getting more and more speculation on what the series will be about. From official sources, we know that the series will take place 10 years after Revenge of the Sith, and will be about Obi-Wan Kenobi on the dunes of Tatooine, looking over a young Luke Skywalker. Obi-Wan is set to think about his past and deal with some unforeseen issues in the series. Though it hasn't been confirmed yet, it looks like Obi-Wan Kenobi will be hunted down by the Grand Inquisitor, an enemy trained to hunt down the remaining Jedi after Order 66. Another thing we have officially confirmed is that Hayden Christensen will be returning as Anakin Skywalker in the series. Though we don't know how this will play into the show, we do know that these two will have scenes together once again, which is what fans have always wanted. And that's the end of today's video. Hopefully you enjoyed this latest video. If you did, would you please let us know down in the comment section below? It would be very helpful. Make sure to like the video, comment down below, and of course, subscribe to the channel with the notification bell rung. Thank you for watching today's video. Bye!